If you've just spent months and months and months looking for a new job, you've sent out resumes, maybe a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen, maybe well over 100. You've gone on interview after interview after interview, and you just can't seem to get a job offer. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if you're thinking, maybe I should just go ahead and hire a recruiter. I need the muscle. I need their experience. I need their understanding of this job market. So yeah, you're thinking I'm going to go ahead and hire a recruiter. Well, before you do that, I'm going to ask you to watch this video, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you 7 things that a recruiter won't tell you. And some of what I'm going to tell you may even shock you. So before you pick up that phone, before you say yes, before you say, Mr. Recruiter, Mrs. Recruiter, I want you on my team, I need to hire you, watch this video, because yes, I will tell you what they won't tell you. And that, my friends, that's up next, right here on Over 50 TV. Welcome back to Over 50 TV. My name is Lou Reyes. Well, as I said before the break, in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what a recruiter won't tell you. Specifically, what I'll do is I'll tell you 7 things a recruiter won't tell you when you are over 50. And these are things that I really believe you should know before you invest the time. And actually, you're investing your money when you hire a recruiter. So before you do that, watch this video. I'll walk you through 7 things you should know. But before I do that, I'm going to remind you or let you know that there are 2 freebies for you in the description box of this video. Number 1 is I do have a 5-sentence cover letter, a cover letter that I believe hiring managers can't resist. It's a cover letter that I compiled. It's simple. It's easy to use. You can use all or part of it in conjunction with your resume when you send those out. Now, I also have a link to a free career aptitude test, and that career aptitude test is courtesy of Career Fitter. If you follow my channel, you know I'm an advocate of career aptitude tests because I think they can help steer you to a career that better fits your skills, your experience, and your personality. And that link, the link to the free career aptitude test, is in the description box. So now let's go to our video. Let's talk about 7 things recruiters won't tell you. As someone who has used recruiting firms and recruiters to help me staff positions at one of my publishing companies or even at my trade show, my national trade show business, I've got a lot of experience working with recruiters. So what I'm going to be sharing with you here today is based on my experience, but it's also based on lots of research that I did when I decided I was going to go ahead and produce this video. Let's start with number 1. Hiring recruiters is expensive for the company. Now, what I'm going to do to explain this, I'm going to use my own experience when I hired, or I should say when I worked with recruiters. Now, when a recruiter refers someone to me, they've got a prospect, somebody that they know can fill a position that I have, an opening. Well, when they send that person to me, if I decide I want to go ahead and hire them, or I'm thinking about, I want to hire them, one thing I know immediately is I'm going to be paying that recruiter a fee. And that fee could be anywhere from 15 to 20% or more of that first year salary, the salary that I would be paying that person I'm going to be hiring. So, because I know it's expensive to work with a recruiter, more often than not, if I had an option to hire that person that was referred by the recruiter, that expensive person, because they're more expensive now, or hiring somebody that I got through Indeed or some other website, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hire the person that's less expensive. If the skills are fairly similar, unless there's some huge difference, I'm not going to pay that extra fee to the recruiter. I'm going to hire the person that's less expensive who I know can do the job. And most companies feel that exact same way. They don't want to go ahead and hire that most expensive person. So if you get hired, or rather if you hire a recruiter, well, you can bet that companies are thinking when they're sitting across from you, they're calculating in their head. They've got a little calculator, mental calculator, and they're thinking, this person's going to cost me X amount of thousands of dollars. So even though I like them, even though they're pretty good, they're friendly, they could fit the bill, I'm going to go with the least expensive option. Number 2, a recruiter isn't always going to get you the best deal. And when I say the best deal, I mean the best salary and the best benefits. And there are a few different reasons for this. Number 1, if I'm sitting across from a recruiter and that person says this person is wanting this salary, well, as I mentioned, I'm calculating in my head what this is going to cost me, not just that salary, but in addition to that salary, I got to look at what I'm paying that recruiter. And it's always a percentage of the salary. So I'm going to be thinking, well, if I've got to pay that extra fee, I'm going to reduce that salary, that first year, second year, or third year salary that I'm going to be paying that person. So recruiter isn't going to get you the best deal many times because that's factored into this whole equation. Now, another thing that you've got to consider is sometimes, and I found this to be true more often than not, that recruiter is not a good negotiator. So I'm sitting across from a recruiter, and I'm telling them what I'm willing to pay, and they just want to get their commission. Yeah, they're going to look at what the market's paying, but they do not always get the best deal because, yeah, maybe they just want to get that commission. They're not a good negotiator. Maybe they're too young. They don't understand how to negotiate a deal. So when you hire a recruiter, they're not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you that this is going on behind the scenes. And sometimes they don't even know because, again, they're not a good negotiator. Your appearance matters. Your appearance, it really does matter to many companies. And it matters because they have a certain image that they want to project. So if you go into a job and maybe you're not well groomed, maybe your shirt's wrinkly, your shoes don't seem to match your outfit, or maybe you're one of those wild childs who just wants to dress any way you want to dress. If it doesn't fit the image that that company wants to project to their clients, to the world outside, well, then you're not going to be a good fit no matter how much experience, skills, talent you have. You're not going to be a good fit. You are too old. Probably when you started watching this video, you may have thought, yeah, Lou's going to get around to this particular thing that a recruiter isn't going to be telling me. But it is a fact of life, especially if you're going to be going into the tech world, the tech field. You've been working in that field and you want to change, you get into a new company. Well, you know what? As we know from news reports, from the media, and even from people who watch my channel here on Over 50 TV, who were in tech, they'll say, hey, Lou, at a certain point, I knew I was going to be pushed out because of my age. Now, they don't want to, or maybe they don't want to say something a recruiter doesn't want to tell you because they're afraid of being sued. They don't want to say, well, you can't go for that job. There's a chance you could get that job, so they're going to say, yeah, go for it. I have little experience as a recruiter. Yeah, that recruiter's probably not going to tell you that. They want your business. They don't want to tell you that, yeah, they are this close to being pushed out of their company, the recruiting company, because they're not able to place people in a job. They don't want to tell you that they haven't placed anyone in the last 3 months. Or 6 months because they're just not good at what they do. They don't want to tell you that, you know what, you are being assigned to them because the people at that company, at that recruiting firm only want to deal with people who have this many skills or this much skills, this much experience. My recommendation is ask them, when was the last time you placed someone in my field? When was the last time you placed someone my age in my field? How many placements have you made in the last 30 days? What's the job market like in your experience for people who are like me, people who have my skills? But yeah, you want to know that. And I don't think a recruiter is going to tell you that unless you ask. Don't call me, I'll call you. Now, I don't think a recruiter, somebody you're sitting with, somebody that you're hoping is going to help you to realize your dream of finding a job is going to tell you that. I don't think they'll tell you, don't call me, I'll call you. But when I started to do the research for this video and I looked at some other YouTube channels of people who were recruiters, who earned their living as a recruiter, I got to tell you, I was shocked. Absolutely shocked when I read this quote from a recruiter, a woman who has a pretty large following on YouTube. And what she does is she does provide advice to people who are looking for a job. And she says and uses and leverages the fact that she was a recruiter. So she knows that field, knows that industry. But here's what she said. She says, I can tell you from firsthand experience that there have been times where as a recruiter in the past where I did not respond to people, but that's just because I had so many people reaching out to me and so many profiles to look through, so many resumes to look through that I had to prioritize. So if I felt that somebody was not the right fit for an opportunity, they likely didn't hear from me. Now, maybe on the surface you might think, well, yeah, I understand that. If she doesn't think I'm a right fit, she's not going to call me. But to sit with a client, somebody who's depending on you to help them to find a job, and you say, well, you know what, I'm just not going to call you. Well, she'd probably virtually guarantee you, she didn't tell that person when they hired her, she didn't tell that person, I'm not going to call you. And if you call me, I'm not going to call you back because I'm so busy. Don't put too much weight on a recruiter to really help you find a next position. It's going to be a matter of luck and timing. And those are words, the exact words. It's a quote from a recruiter. Well, when you're sitting across from a recruiter and you're hiring this person and you're putting your career and your life in their lap and their hands, if they feel like don't depend on me to help you find a job, they should just be telling you that. They should flat out tell you. Not a lot, or I don't know of any recruiter who's going to be so bold and so honest and so basically forthright to say, don't depend on me. But this is exactly what this recruiter said. So if this recruiter with a lot of credibility is saying, don't depend on a recruiter to help you find a job, well, let's take it to heart and not depend on a recruiter. Well, that's all I got for you today, my friends. But as I always say, have a great day, everybody.